Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Coming up tonight, a minor setback for government in the citizenship matter. The PLP raises voter registration concerns, plus a man accused of threatening two well-known businessmen. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, the Court of Appeal has dismissed government's application for a stay of a landmark ruling on citizenship. Last month, the appellate court upheld a ruling by Supreme Court Justice Ian Winder that every person born in the Bahamas after July 9, 1973 shall become a citizen of the Bahamas at birth if either parent is a citizen, regardless of their marital status. The government has been granted leave to appeal to the Privy Council. Attorney Wayne Munroe represents the 5 people at the center of the court battle.
The simple result is that they dismissed the Attorney General's application and awarded us cost. It's just another one they lost, eh? And it was for the very simple reason that we said in the beginning, the judges made no declarations, so there's nothing to stay.
Attorney General Carl Bethel says government accepts the Court of Appeal's ruling and the matter will proceed to the Privy Council. In other news, Pan American Health Organization's advisor on emerging viral diseases, Dr. Jairo Mendez Rico, confirming the Alpha variant was found in the majority of samples tested from the Bahamas. However, he didn't say when those samples were taken or how many samples were tested. Dr. Rico addressed the issue in response to a question during the weekly virtual PAHO briefing on COVID-19 today. Rico says, according to the most recent information to be officially verified by the country, but already available on global databases, the Alpha variant of concern has been detected in most of the samples. So far, he says, there is no evidence of the Delta variant in circulation in the Bahamas. Nevertheless, the genomic surveillance should be maintained to timely detect the possible introduction and spread of the Delta or any other variant. Well, the Prime Minister announcing today that he will soon have a lot more to say about the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. The Ministry of Health confirming 95 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, while hospitalizations shot up to 92, prompting PMH to implement new measures, including only accepting emergency cases at the emergency department and suspending all elective surgeries and outpatient lab services. Jasmine Brown reports.
In the coming days, I will have more to say about our public health measures and vaccines in response to the increase in cases, mostly here in New Providence.
It was with those few words that the Prime Minister revealed that his administration would be responding to the recent increase in COVID-19 cases. His comments come one day after Health Minister Renfred Wells told reporters that the recent spike in COVID cases is likely linked to gatherings during the Independence holiday weekend. The Bahamas confirmed more than 950 new cases so far this month. Of that figure, 465 were confirmed between July 12th and July 19th. Over the last year, on the advice of health officials, the Prime Minister imposed tighter restrictions whenever there were spikes in cases. But Wells said on Tuesday that health officials have not recommended additional restrictions despite the recent spike. While the PM did not touch on that topic, he did insist the current health protocols must be adhered to.
I once again implore everyone to abide by the public health measures.
The Prime Minister made the comments as he was delivering remarks at the official opening of the Margaritaville Beach Resort and Fins Up Water Park at the Point. He pointed out the importance of getting the economy back on track through the safe reopening of the economy and insisted vaccinations are the key to making that happen quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, to restore our economy and our country, more Bahamians must be vaccinated.
Now, the Prime Minister also took the opportunity to talk tourism, insisting his administration will help the industry bounce back by taking care of downtown New Providence. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In other news, the Progressive Liberal Party is raising concerns about the voter registration process, calling the constituency transfer and card replacement process wrong and unfair. Kyle Joaquin has more.
Attorney Ray Monroe QC says the PLP feels as though what's happening with voters' cards is just wrong, and aside from that, it's ugly.
It's just terribly ugly and messy, isn't it?
From needing a police report if you've lost your voter's card to officials writing on the same purple card, Wayne Monroe QC says the PLP is concerned about the voter registration process.
You have these machinations, hard to understand, and so it would cause you to lose confidence in the persons running the system, and that is why the PLP calls on them to correct it.
Some voters who showed up to transfer constituencies have also complained that their old constituency information was scratched out, and the updated information was written over it in red ink. Some even posted pictures of their cards on social media. Monroe said he couldn't believe it.
This is a voter's card. Voting is the top thing in a democracy, and that is the document that they're giving voters. If you were to receive that, what would you think about the person who produced it? You would think it's a kindergarten operation, eh? What the government is telling its citizens is it cannot afford a piece of paper to make sure that this thing is done properly. Either they are right out of money or they just don't care.
There's also the concern that if there is a need to go to election court, whether this could be an issue. Monroe says the PLP's legal team has taken the matter up with the Commissioner of Police.
Exactly what you require of people when they first register, which is they simply swear to say they live there. There are legal consequences for perjury if you lie about where you live. So that's all they should be requiring. These people are moving. None of my children have a utility bill at the address that they live. I don't think my wife does.
We reached out to Acting Parliamentary Commissioner Lovato Duncanson. He directed us to the Parliamentary Elections Act. But when one looks at the subsection speaking to replacement of voter's card, the only time a police station is mentioned is at the end, where it says anyone who finds a voter's card should hand it over to the revising officer or nearest police station. Other than that, only subsection C speaks to the revising officer, causing the individual requesting a replacement to do what he or she thinks is fit for the person to verify that their application is bona fide.
But it's more likely that it is a deliberate process to try to discourage people from voting who they know are lining up to vote them out.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
From the courts, the 34-year-old man accused of threatening non-resident Ambassador Bastian and businessman Adrian Fox in voice notes was charged in the magistrate's court today. Giorgio Bain has the details.
Kenson Knowles pled guilty to charges of threats of death and threats of harm today during his arraignment in the magistrate's court. It comes days after voice notes of a man threatening two well-known businessmen, including an ambassador, went viral on social media. According to the prosecution, on July 18th, non-resident ambassador to South Africa Bastian said a friend forwarded him two voice notes concerning him, his daughters, and his business partner, Adrian Fox. He said he visited the page and heard the voice notes posted by the defendant, who he is familiar with but chose to ignore. He said when he listened to the voice notes, he heard the defendant saying, "Anywhere I see him, I will take him out of this world, and money will not save him." Bastian and Fox said that they didn't know the man and that they were in fear of their lives, so they filed an official police report. Knowles was then arrested in Eleuthera and brought to the capital to face charges. Asked why he released the voice notes threatening Bastian and Fox, Knowles said that persons who work for the pair were working dark magic on him and he wanted them to feel how he felt. He said he didn't want the voice notes to go viral, but he said that he noticed that some of the persons who were bothering him seemed to be in the same gang cult as Bastian and Fox, as they were all having their fingers fixed similarly in their social media photos, and he wanted to put an end to them stalking him and playing games. He told the magistrate, "My emotions got the best of me. I've been provoked so long, I lost it." Magistrate Davis ordered that Knowles be evaluated so that he can have a clear picture of what's going on with him. Pending his evaluation, sentencing is set for August 30th. Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
A breezy morning on New Providence. Greg has the latest from around the country over in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christine, and welcome everybody on this very warm evening, Wednesday evening, of course. Temperatures very oppressive today. They were in the 90s, those heat indices, triple digits. We are settling into the low 80s, but it's still very warm outside. Temperatures your feels like temperature in the mid to up 80s. Few clouds, your winds are out of the southeast, bringing in some more warm temperatures at around 6 knots. That high pressure ridge remains in charge. Of course, a lot of Saharan dust across the area, and that's going to continue to keep things rather warm for the rest of the evening and into tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, Margaritaville Beach Resort officially opens, plus the DPM slams the PLP over voter panic. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
The Margaritaville Beach Resort and Fins Up Water Park officially opening today with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS says the development is a major factor in helping the city of Nassau and the Nassau waterfront come alive.
The historic city of Nassau and downtown are being transformed before our very own eyes.
The development includes 155 hotel rooms, 129 condominium units, a spa, 1,000-foot-long lazy river, water slides, a grand ballroom, and restaurants. Margaritaville is part of the larger Point complex. Officials say the Point has created more than 700 direct jobs during construction and has employed 350 Bahamians.
Margaritaville Beach Resort opening marks the beginning of an exciting new journey of the Point. We firmly believe in the prosperity of the Bahamas, and the local tourism industry will be further promoted with the development and other projects we are planning in the surrounding area.
Margaritaville Holdings Chairman John Colin says China Construction America has been a vital partner.
Our partners at the China Construction Company, Dan Lee and Mr. Chairman, have been committed the entire time to quality. They basically insisted on doing everything first class.
Well, Deputy Prime Minister Desmond Bannister accusing PLP leader Philip Davis of causing unnecessary panic when he proclaimed that Parliament would be dissolved this week. Hundreds of Bahamians lined up outside voter registration centers on Monday.
You know, the Prime Minister already said it. He's the only one who knows when election day is. I think if you listen to the leader of the opposition, we should have been hearing about an election being called today. It hasn't been called, so obviously he has no credibility. This is another strike against his credibility. It is so very, very sad.
Bannister also responding to voter register concerns regarding constituency transfers for former Abaco and Grand Bahama residents.
The register is only as good as we are. So as candidates, what every candidate does is go through the register, and they look to see who are the people who are deceased, who may still be on the register, and this happens in every election.
House Speaker Moultrie is defending his time in the chair, calling it a refreshing change. He also took jabs at the F&M's new candidate for Nassau Village. Bethany McDermott reports.
Following a tumultuous 4 years in the Speaker's chair, Moultrie is defending his term as House Speaker. In 2018, the opposition sought a vote of no confidence in Moultrie as Speaker. In February of that year, he launched the blistering attack on former Parliamentary Clerk Maurice Tynes and opposition leader Philip Davis. Though his critics have suggested he was not fit to serve as Speaker, Moultrie says he believes he's been a refreshing change to the post.
I believe that it has been a refreshing change because when I go into places like Kelly's, in the mall, or shopping, I'm stopped constantly and encouraged to continue to fight on behalf of the people and to stand up for democracy, despite all the risk involved in.
Despite criticism from the opposition, F&M members of parliament initially stuck by their speaker, who eventually aimed his fire at his own government over parliament's lack of independence from the executive branch, likening it to a dinghy boat hitched to the mothership. Moultrie has since lost favor with his former party, which selected former Hotel Union president Nicole Martin as its standard bearer in Nassau Village. He predicted she won't win his seat.
I'm still convicted that now that I have been changed and the F&M has selected a new candidate, I believe that they have done themselves a disfavor in the process. And I mean, basically, I don't even have to say anything about the choice because it's speaking for itself. And so I expect that the F&M will lose the Nassau Village seat.
The F&M ratified Martin in March. Moultrie, who resigned from the F&M, suggested Martin's comments after being ratified speak volumes.
Well, I think the candidate selected by the F&M has made some public statements and utterances and stuff that speaks for itself.
In 2017, Moultrie won on the F&M's ticket, defeating the PLP's candidate by 952 votes. He said he believes his chances as an independent candidate are greater this time around. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Still to come, Comfort Suites has a lot to celebrate on its 30th anniversary. Find out more after this.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Following months of low occupancy, things are looking up for Comfort Suites, and it's just in time for the resort's 30th anniversary. Jillian Gray tells us more.
Majority of our team members are back. We have been experiencing high volumes, especially on the weekends, from our locals.
The last year and a half has been a roller coaster ride for many hotel properties, but luckily for Comfort Suites, things are looking up, and so are bookings. That's due in part to staycations, according to Director of Sales YASMINE, who says they've had to craft an experience just for locals.
We're so appreciative to the local market for their continuous support, in that we've established a sizzling summer sale, specifically just for them. At $128 plus taxes, they're able to enjoy the entire summer with us through August 31st.
Today marks the company's 30-year anniversary, and while they can't celebrate the milestone in the usual way, MILESTONE says they've gotten creative. Guests will be gifted with keepsakes, and locals are welcomed on weekends at the bar. After a hard year of lockdowns, extended periods away from work, and low occupancy, the hotel is celebrating its team members, many of whom have been with the hotel property since the beginning.
We have team members that have actually been here since 1991. Comfort Suites Paradise Island is an all Bahamian managed property. We've had the same consistent ownership for our 30 years, and we're very excited to be celebrating. We're going to culminate the year with awards for our long-term employees, so that those that have been here from day one and those that have been here even for a little less time, 10 and 20 years, know that they're very much valued and appreciated to their dedication.
Now, Comfort Suites has implemented some of the usual safety measures like hand sanitization stations at each entryway and floor markings to ensure that guests remain socially distant. This, as they say, safety is their top priority. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Meanwhile, as more money is circulating in the economy, sectors such as banking, insurance, health, and food and beverage are seeing the ripple effects. Here to discuss is RF Vice President of Investments, David Slatter. Welcome, David.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
So tell us, how has the local equity market performed so far this year?
Well, the equity markets usually are leading indicators for the overall economy. They tend to be the indicators that lead, say, broader growth. And you mentioned, I think earlier in your broadcast, I was listening, you talked about the hotel sector improving. If we look at the local equity market, we've got 20 companies that trade, and 13 of those 20 companies are actually up year to date. And 7 of those companies have actually increased the dividends that they pay. So those are all positive signs. And to give you an idea of some of the top performers, I mean, you've got AML is up almost 50% year to date. Bahamas First is up 35%, APD up 24%, Doctors is up 15%, and FAMGuard is up 14%. So we hit on the insurance sector, the food sector, I guess infrastructure, so the shipping with APD, and then the health sector with Doctors. The laggards in the local equity market would be mainly the bank stocks. But as you see loan loss provisions get written back, you'll see their performance improve markedly, in our opinion. So going forward, we expect the bank stocks, which are in negative territory year to date, to actually have positive gains as we go forward.
And do some of those expectations change from industry to industry, such as banking and insurance, or health and food and beverage?
Sure. So definitely food and beverage, we expect, say, Commonwealth Brewery to definitely benefit from the uptick in tourism, because a lot of their revenue is generated through the hotels. AML, we think, will continue to have a good run. They've got a number of projects they've announced recently that should expand their revenue streams. The food store in Exuma, Charles Saunders Highway development, the commitment to Grand Bahama. Then in the health sector, I mean, unfortunately, COVID-19 is here for a while. And, while it is a revenue benefit to Doctors Hospital, whether it's through testing in particular.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David, as always, for that insight.
Thank you.
When our news returns, the winner of the first round of the True Bahamian competition revealed. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news, and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. Looking forward to a few beautiful but hot days ahead. Greg is back in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christina. Welcome everybody for your second look at weather. 2 words to describe the weather today: oppressive heat. That ridge of high pressure remains in charge. Tranquil weather conditions across area, not much in terms of any clouds, but the Saharan dust that's following it is going to continue to be with us for the next couple of days. We do have a large cluster of that Saharan dust that's going to be moving into our area by the weekend, so the heat will continue. National Hurricane Center watching an area to the north of the Bahamas for some possible formation for a non-tropical low. We'll continue to watch that for the next couple of days. If you plan on doing any beaching or boating for the northwest and central islands, southeast to southerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. For the southeast Bahamas, your winds will be east to southeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5. Tide is low, will be high at 12:58 in the morning. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. All is quiet in the tropics right now, but we could see some showers early next week. That's your look at weather. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. A new competition is helping to highlight Bahamian content while bringing a new level of appreciation for local destinations. The True Bahamian Treasure Hunt features clues on RTV channel 212 nightly. Vice President of Media, David Burrows.
We feel very good about pushing the Bahamian content, about the local domestic travel, and right now, where we are in this stage of the pandemic, that travel is very important, but traveling at home is just fantastic, and we have so many great destinations. We're really trying to promote this type of a relationship where you can get on a plane and go to a place to stay that you won by watching Bahamian content.
Clues pop up nightly between 6 and 11 p.m. Participants must guess the location or person, then post that answer to RTV Originals Facebook page. The Tokyo Olympics, which kick off this Friday, will be the place to watch for more clues. Damien and Demaya Hasty tag team the challenge and will be enjoying their comfort suite staycation this weekend.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It feels wonderful.
Some of them I look up, and some of them I never remember from school.
21 destinations will be featured over the next 21 weeks. Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association Executive President Suzanne Patouche says they were excited to partner with Cable Bahamas, adding they strategically scattered the clues and prize destinations throughout the country.
We are seeing, though, a notable uptick in local businesses doing exactly what we're trying to promote, supporting local businesses, locals traveling throughout the archipelago, going to these islands and saying, oh my goodness, I can stay home and have this wondrous, yes, our tourists, and we're so happy to welcome them back. But it reminds us as well how much of a great time we ourselves can have in our own country.
So good luck. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.